Sai Dama, thank you all so much for joining us today on the auspicious occasion of the 32nd anniversary of the Kansas Science Center. We'll be starting off today's session with the usual Thursday opening prayers to group prayers. And then after that, we'll have our solo bhajan, and then followed by that, we'll be having the experience sharing. We'll be starting off with 3 ohms. Om. Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Gananam Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashavastamam Jyestarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunvannoti Visida Sadhanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebir Vajanivati Dinam Vitrayavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatye Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Bhuvaswaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhuvaswaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhuvaswaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Sai Ramaya Vidmahe Atma Ramaya Dhimahi Tanno Baba Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hanuman Chalisa.
तुलसीदासकृत श्री हनुमान चालीसा प्रार्थना अतुलित बलधामां स्वर्ण शैलाभदेहं धनुजवनकुशानां ज्ञानिनामग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानां वानराणमधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तां वातजातुं नमामि गोष्पदीकृतवारासिं मस्कीकृतराक्षसं रामायण महामालारत्नं वन्दे नीलात्मजं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कुसुमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षान्तकम् श्रीरामभक्ताय हनुमते नमः। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी वरणौ रघुवर विमल यस जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बलधामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कांचन वरण विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र ध्वजा विराजय कांदे मूंज जनेऊसा जय शंकर सुवन केशरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबेको आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनवेको रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिय दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जलावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज समारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाये श्री रघुवीर हर गिर लाये रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई कहा भरत सम तुम प्रिय बाई सहस बदन तुमरो यस गावै यस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीव किन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि, जल दिलांगी गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगमानुग्रह तुमरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, हो तवा आज्ञा बिनु पैठारे। सब सुख है तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज संहारो आपै, तीनों लोक हम कते कांपै। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै, महावीर जब नाम सुनावै। नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै, तास अमित जीवन फल पावै। चारों युग प्रताप तुम्हारा है, प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो तुम रघुपति के दासा। तुमरो भजन राम को पावै, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुपति पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत सेई सर्व सुख करई। संकट हटई मिटई सब पीरा, जो सुमिरई हनुमत बलवीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। यह सतवार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरिचेरा, की जय नाद हृदय महडेरा। की जय नाद हृदय महडेरा, की जय नाद हृदय महडेरा। दोहा। पवन तनया संकट हरणा, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभु। जय श्री राम। Now we are going to chant Durga Suktam. ॐ जातवेदसे सुनवाम सोम मराति, यतो निदहाति वेदः। स नः पर्षदति दुर्गाणि विश्वानावेव सिन्धुं दुरितात्यग्निः। तामग्निवर्णां तपसा ज्वलन्तीं, वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषु जुष्टाम्। दुर्गां देवीगुं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये, सुतरसि तरसे नमः। अग्ने त्वं पारयानव्यो अस्मान्, स्वस्तिभिरति दुर्गाणि विश्वा। पूषानभुर्विभव तोकाय तनयाय संयोः। विश्वानि नो दुर्गः जातवेदः, सिन्धुं ननाव दुरितातिपर्षि। अग्ने अत्रिवन्मनसा गृणानोऽस्माकं बोध्यविता तनूनां। पृतनाजितगुं सहमानमुग्रमग्निगुं हुवेम परमात् सदस्तात्। स नः पर्षदति दुर्गाणि विश्वाक्षामद्देवो अतिदुरितात्यग्निः। प्रत्नोषिकमीड्यो अध्वरेषु सनाश्च होता नव्यश्च सत्सि। स्वाञ्चाग्ने तनुवं पिप्रय, स्वास्मभ्यं च सौभगमाय जस्व। गोभिर्जुष्टमयजो निषिक्तं, तवेन्द्र विष्णोरनुसञ्चरेम। नाकस्य पृष्ठमभिसंवसानो, वैष्णवीं लोक इह मादयन्ताम्। ॐ कात्यायनाय विद्महे, कन्याकुमारि धीमहि। तन्नो दुर्गी प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शांति शांति शांतिः। क्षमा प्रार्थना। ॐ यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत्, तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देवा नारायण नमोऽस्तुते। विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च, न्यूनानि चातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व साईश्वर। अपराधसहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया, दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व साईश्वर। अन्यदा शरणं नास्ति, त्वमेव शरणं मम। तस्मात् कारुण्यभावेन रक्ष रक्ष साईश्वर। हरि ओम तत्सत् श्री साईश्वरार्पणमस्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
Sai Rama, now the solo bhajan.
शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांतिवासी साई राम। शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांतिवासी साई राम। साई राम साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम। साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम। शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांतिवासी साई राम। शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांतिवासी साई राम। अल्लाह ईश्वर साई राम। अल्लाह ईश्वर साई राम। पार्थिपुरी के है भगवान। पार्थिपुरी के है भगवान। दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो हे भगवान। दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो हे भगवान। शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांतिवासी साई राम। शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांतिवासी साई राम। साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम। साई राम एक नाम सुंदर नाम। शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांतिवासी साई राम। शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांतिवासी साई राम। अल्लाह ईश्वर साई राम। अल्लाह ईश्वर साई राम। पार्थिपुरी के है भगवान। पार्थिपुरी के है भगवान। दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो हे भगवान। दया करो कृपा करो रक्षा करो हे भगवान। शिरडी साई द्वारकमाई प्रशांतिवासी साई राम।
Sai Ram, a very wonderful bhajan, Bella. Thank you so much for entering such a beautiful bhajan. Now we'll be moving on to the introduction.
Sairam, everyone. Sairama, thank you all for joining us today on this auspicious occasion of our Kansas Sai Center 32nd anniversary. So, being Thursday, we want to do it today. It's on September 24th, and it's our 32nd anniversary. And here is my son. So, I just want to introduce him, just like any other guest speaker. So it gives me immense joy to introduce my son Sai Karthik Turaga on this auspicious occasion of the 32nd anniversary of the Kansas Sai Center. Sai Karthik was born into a Sai family and has been an active member of the Kansas Sai Center since his birth. His dedication to the teachings of Swami led him to become a certified SSSGC Balvikas teacher in 2014. And in 2016, he earned the Balvikas SSSG enrichment certification as well.
Excuse me, Lakshmi. Sorry to interrupt you. Could you please record it?
Yeah.
It's recorded.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, sister. You are able to hear us, right? Is
Yes,
it clear?
please go ahead.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. So, on the academic front, Sai Karthik holds a Bachelor of Science in Business Information Systems from the University of Kansas, KU. He further distinguished himself by earning a Master of Science in Business Analytics and a Master of Business Administration, MBA and MS from Purdue University. It's a dual master's, becoming the youngest graduate in the university histories. In the Purdue University history, he is the youngest to hold the both degrees to complete this joint degree program. Professionally, Sai Karthik is building a career in the financial services industry, focusing on business management in the technology operations and strategy space. His certifications include PMP, CSM, CSPO, Lean Six Sigma, Black Belt, ITL, how do you pronounce
ITIL,
ITIL, and
AZ900.
AZ900. In the SAI organization, he has contributed significantly as a young adult and educational coordinator for the Kansas SAI Center and continues to serve in the same capacity for the Sri Satya Sai Global Council USA Region 4, Mid Central Region, which consists of the SAI centers in the following states: Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Mississippi, and northern Texas. Now I would like to virtually hand out the mic to my son Sai Karthik. Sai Rama Karthik.
Sai Rama, thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, Mom.
Yeah.
It means a lot. It's truly a wonderful opportunity to speak for the Kansas Sai Center. And I'd like to pray to Swami that he speaks through me, and I offer my humblest pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Sai Ram to one and all. I really thank you all for joining us today on the auspicious occasion of the Kansas Sai Center's 32nd anniversary. And it's truly a wonderful privilege to be speaking today for the Sai Center, which I've been seeing since my birth. So it's just truly wonderful to talk today. So I'll be going into the presentation. So when it comes to, our experiences about Swami, for many of us, it can range from many different things. But in our family line, it has been here and here, and then continuous from a certain point of time. So I'll be starting off in the year 1965. So in the year 1965, Swami has visited the East Godavari district of Andhra Pradesh. So to the particularly, my dad's family is from a town there called Kakinada. It's a port town. And during that time, Swami visited that town in March 1965. And during that point of time, Swami was visiting the JNTU, grounds, as we see in the photo on the right. Swami visited the JNTU grounds. That's where he was giving his darshan. Then on the left side, we see Swami. He inaugurated one of the popular Sai Baba temples in Kakinada. And during that point of time, my grandfather, my dad's dad, was happened to meet Swami at the JNTU grounds. And he got to interact with Swami, and Swami has materialized a watch for him. So that was one experience which we didn't really know at that time. We found out later through, my dad's siblings and all that about that wonderful experience. So it's truly wonderful to see how Swami somewhat entered our life in the year 1965. even though we haven't realized it, but Swami was there from that point in time itself. So it's truly wonderful to hear that. And then moving on to my mother's side. So my mom, she grew up in a place called Vishakhapatnam. So it's known as Vizag. It's in Andhra Pradesh as well. It's also a very popular coastal town in the state. And she lived in a colony called the Hindustan Shipyard Colony. That was where a lot of the ships were made and all that. So during her in the year 1974, she used to go to in the colony. There were many different temples, like a Shirdi Baba temple, a Shiva temple, and all that. And she used to go to the Sai Baba temple along with her like her auntie, who was her neighbor. She used to take my mom. She was probably around like 4 years old at that time, to that Shirdi Baba temple. And at that temple, they used to attend bhajans every Thursday. And that auntie taught my mom Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam. As we all know, that's Swami's first bhajan. So that's also in a way my mom's first bhajan. And she learned that bhajan as a 4-year-old. And she sang it at that temple. So that was wonderful. And at that such young age, she didn't even realize it. She was just learning it because it was fun. And it was wonderful to see how, like, Swami's bhajan was able to connect to her at that young of age. So that was kind of like a somewhat of a introduction point of Swami into her life at that point in time. And then during like when my mom was young, she used to hear about Swami from her relatives and friends during her childhood, and about Prashanti Noyam. So my mom's aunt would visit Prashanti Noyam in the 1970s often, and would always speak to my mom about how she would be giving a letter, like how she would want to give a letter to Swami, and she always used to say in English, "Please, Swami, take my letter. Please, Swami, please, Swami." And my mom used to always think, why is she pleading Swami in English? Because it was kind of foreign at that point in time, how they were using English words to talk to a god. So that was a question that was in my mom's mind. And then another one of my mom's neighbors, he used to visit Prashanti Noyam often, and he would speak to all the kids about how Swami during Shivaratri would, take out the, how the Shivalinga would materialize from his mouth. So the Lingo Baba, he would be speaking about that experience, and that was very interesting for my mom as a kid. And then also, like, my mom's classmate in elementary school, she used to visit Prashanti Noyam as a kid often. And she always used to tell stories about Prashanti Noyam, about how foreigners would be wearing, saris and all that, and about the discipline. And that was all very interesting for my mom it was at that age. And then, of course, her cousin would attend Bal Vikas and would always speak about the lessons he's learned from Bal Vikas. So even though my mom wasn't part of Bal Vikas, but whenever that cousin would visit, she would be getting those lessons of SSC in her life. So that was very interesting. And then, of course, her cousins, like some of her cousins attended Swami's University in Prashanti Noyam and Anantapur. So during that time, we knew of Swami, but she didn't really it was just Swami was there, but it wasn't really streamlined. She wasn't really thinking too much about it. But one really interesting thing that happened, we actually learned of this just maybe 1 or 2 years ago. So how my mom lived in the shipyard colony? We found out that that one of the tenants who used to stay in the home which she lived in when she was during the time when she learned Manasa Bhajare, the tenant who lived in it before her, we actually reconnected with them in the last year. And they were mentioning to us something very interesting. Apparently, they are Sai devotees too, and they used to have Swami's bhajans in their home every Thursday in that home whenever they lived there. And after they vacated and moved to a different place, my mom's family moved there. So it was very interesting to see that my mom lived in a Swami's home, even though she had no clue of it till about a year ago. So it was very nice to hear that wonderful experience. And then like in 1991, she of course heard about like, there were some very big milestones about Swami. Like, in 1991, they inaugurated the super specialty hospital in Prashanti Nilayam, which she heard through her cousin who was active with Sevadol activities in the state of Andhra Pradesh and used to go for Sevadol activities in Prashanti Nilayam. And the thing is, like, my mom, she heard all these wonderful things about Swami through friends, family, relatives, and all that. And despite that, she didn't get the opportunity to connect to Swami at this point in time. And despite spending like, almost 23, 25 years in India, which was a big shock. And then moving on to the next slide. So my parents, they moved to the United States in 1994. The first place which they ended up in was Kansas itself. And then after a year after moving to the United States, my parents and my brother, so through one of our close friends, they're the ones who told us about, oh, there's a Sai Center in Kansas, you should attend. And at that point in time, of course, my parents, they weren't really aware of like, what Sai centers are. They've heard of Swami, of course, through their previous experiences, but it was like, kind of like they decided to go mainly because, they wanted to be in a spiritual environment. They wanted to be around positive people. So that's really what prompted them to go along with their friends to the Sai Center in Kansas City. And then my dad's first interest in the Sai Center was actually like, very something very interesting was study circles and listening to Swami's discourses. And then, bhajans later on were, it was only after that, like, after maybe sitting through a couple bhajans, he actually got interested in Swami's bhajans, especially, when Swami would give discourses. Swami would always conclude his speech with the bhajan. And then through that, that's how my dad learned, bhajans like Prema Mudita Manase Kaho and Bhajana Bina Sukha Shanti Nahi, which he used to sing which later after learning it, he started singing it in the center, and everyone used to appreciate those songs and would ask my dad to sing it. And that was kind of like, my dad's, introduction to Swami. And then during that time, whenever my parents they used to like, especially during the 90s, reading books were really popular, and especially reading Swami's books, those were the prime time for a lot of the books, like, like we know, books by Howard Murfitt and all that. So my parents used to get the books from California and they used to read them. And whenever they would read those books, they would always get a smell about like, they would get a smell of vibhuti, which used to make them feel Swami's and that's like, really what made them feel Swami's omnipresence for the first time. So that was very interesting to hear. And then my mom, especially, she really loved attending the Sai Center, mainly because she was surrounded by, good company, positive company, and they were following Swami's, and she also was very much aligned with Swami's human values. And like, how like, Swami always emphasized the principles of, being vegetarian and not to and to avoid smoking and drinking. So those were three things which has always been in my mom's mind from the start, even before getting into Swami's fold. And Swami as well was very clear that his devotees should follow that, and they should follow the human values. So those were things which really much aligned with my mom's traditional values. So she loved being part of the Sai circle and being part of this positive company. And then at one point in time, my dad was not able to come to the center for a bit because he was taking care of my brother. So during that time, my mom had the strong desire to attend the Sai Center. So because of that, she learned driving. So because she learned driving, she would go to the Sai Center every single week by herself. And that was the biggest driver. And then during that time, she had the prayer to Swami that, like, she would want, my dad and my brother to sit along in bhajans from like participate in the center activities from Omkar till the Vibhuti prayer. So that has been a prayer on my mom's mind at that point in time. And then in the year 1997, my parents and brother, they visited Puttaparthi for the first time. And during that time, they had a very amazing darshan of Swami. They saw him from, I think it was like the second or third row. And then they saw how, like, Swami, he was walking really fast. And he was like, it almost felt like he was like gliding on the path. And this was, and how it was like, they were like, saying how it was amazing to see him going that fast through Kulvantal, which was, I think, was relatively new at that point in time. Because before that, it was all sands and all that. And then we're going to get to the part which, where I was born. So I was born in the year 2000. And my mom, she had the prayer, like, initially she didn't plan on having any other kids. But after her mother passed away in the year 1998, that was the point of time where she got the desire to, have a second child. But she was only praying, like, to Swami that, like, if it's right, I should be having a second kid. And throughout the pregnancy, she would always be listening to, Swami's bhajans on. Back then, it was like, cassettes in the car. So you would keep in a cassette and she would be listening to Sundaram bhajans and all that. I think it was the volume 2 of Sundaram bhajans. She still remembers that. And even during, her stay in the, before I was born in the hospital, she would always be listening to, the Prashanti Mandir bhajans, as well as, like, some, prayers like Vishnu Sahasranamam, Laita Sahasranamam. And she really wanted to, focus on she wanted to, essentially, like, she wanted Swami's blessings that, the second child should be healthy, happy, and normal. Like, that was her, her biggest prayer, considering the situations. And after that, I was born. And then we actually had our first special bhajans exactly a month after I was born, in May 25th, 2000. So during that time, everyone from the Sai Center visited us. We sang bhajans in our apartment at that time. And we had a very nice satsang, and everyone was, it was a very blissful time, and they were blessing me. And I still have that, that clip even today, where that bhajans was going on, and I was sleeping on my parents' lap. And I was just like, it looked like I was, even though I was a month old, it looked like, I was really immersed with everyone singing. And it was, wonderful to see how Swami was there, like, at that point, at that part of my life itself. So I'm really grateful for that. And then in the year 2003, the Kansas Sai Center came to our home. And since then, we were, continuing Swami's mission. And it was that is truly a wonderful blessing to have, like, Swami's center in our home. And then moving on to the next slide. So this is, how my parents visited Prashanti Nilayam in 1997. So after a gap of 7 years, we were all able to make a trip to Prashanti Nilayam again in the year 2004. And this time we were planning it to be on the birthday of my brother, which is August 28th. So in the year 2004, so this was my first trip to Prashanti Nilayam. And Swami was giving darshan. Back then, Swami was giving darshan in a red golf cart. And this is actually, even though I was 4 years old at that point in time, I still remember this experience very well. So at the beginning of the discourse, which Swami was giving a discourse on that day, which was about divine love alone can save us from sorrows. And at the beginning of the discourse, my nose actually started bleeding. And I was like laying on my mom's lap, And the thing is, how in darshan you don't take anything. So essentially, my nose was bleeding. We had no tissues, nothing. So what my mom did is that she kept a shawl across my nose, just so the bleeding could stop. And the bleeding continued. From my nose, the bleeding continued till Swami halted the discourse midway. And then Swami, went back to the when the discourse halted, Swami went to the back for a few minutes, and everyone was wondering, why did Swami go back? And when Swami was back there, like my nose stopped bleeding at that point in time. And then after the discourse, after the Swami came back from the back room, he continued his discourse. And then, of course, everyone was wondering, why did Swami go back? And then now he came back. And then Swami said that the reason why he left the discourse was because Swami himself was having a nosebleed. So we felt we felt that at that point in time, my mom, that Swami has saved me that day by Swami taking the pain of the devotee. And I would consider that probably one of the first glimpses of Swami's divinity, like direct glimpses. So that's how this is one discourse I've been trying to find for a very long time, because I do remember the date, August 28, 2004. And my mom would always tell me, I remembered this incident personally. And then this is the Swami's discourse I've been looking for. I couldn't find it anywhere. And then one day I found it somewhere. And then I made sure to capture the date and what the discourse was about. So it was truly a wonderful miracle. And this is one miracle which I consider as probably one of my first direct probably a direct, glimpse of Swami's divinity for me as a 4-year-old. So this was truly, it still gives me goosebumps even today about this, because I don't remember much as a 4-year-old, but this is one of the things I always did remember. And, I really am thankful for Swami for his divine love always. And he's always saving us from sorrows. And then in the year 2007, we went to Prashanti Nilayam again after a gap of 3 years. So during this time, we went on a small pilgrimage along with some of the Sai devotees in our region. And then during this time, I was walking outside the ashram. So you know how once we get outside of Prashanti Nilayam, there's a Gopuram road, and then there's railing on the side of the road so that Swami's car can go easily and all that. So during that time, I was walking along with one of our Sai Center uncles from Kansas. And during that time, a bunch of Sevado started running and saying, Swami is coming, Swami is coming. And then they were standing in front. And then Swami's car was driving by. And then, of course, he was driving in, like we see in the photo, the Toyota car. He was driving in that same exact car. And then Swami came where exactly I was stopped, like wherever me and that Sai Center uncle were, he stopped there. And then Swami rolled down the window, and then he blessed me like this. He did this. And that was and then he rolled up the window and then drove again quickly. So that was a very, amazing miracle of Swami, where I got to see him face to face for the first time. At the first point in time in 2004, it was more I was in the crowd, Swami was there, but he took care of me. But in this case, I was actually able to see Swami face to face for the first time. And he blessed me with the Abhaya Hasta, which was truly a wonderful experience as a 7-year-old. I was I saw Swami. It was just truly blissful. And then, that the rest of that pilgrimage was very nice. And then we came back to the U.S. And then in the year 2008, so on the U.S. Independence Day of 2008, during that time, there were some Vibhuti and Amritam miracles that happened at our center. So in our basement, there was some Vibhuti that formed, and Amritam and Kumkum and all that formed on some photos as we see here. And it was truly a wonderful experience. And as we know, Swami says it's a visiting card, if like this. But I always feel like these Vibhuti miracles are great, but the biggest miracle in life is the individual transformation of each person towards divinity. So that's one thing I always believe. But it was wonderful to see this experience for the first time in front of my eyes, because I've always used to read about it, hear about it as an 8-year-old, but it was amazing to see it happen for the first time. And I think it happened, when there was some puja that happened at our home, and some auntie came from India. So it was truly a wonderful experience at that point in time. And then in the year 2009, I got an opportunity to perform in front of Swami during one of the pilgrimages. So I was, as you see here in the photo, I was dressed as a Buddhist monk, and I was able to perform to Swami face like where I was like, essentially performing here. And then Swami was sitting in his wheelchair up here. And during that time, I was truly in bliss, because I was able to see Swami face to face, and Swami was just looking at me and just smiling, like he had his beautiful smile. He was just smiling really big, and it was such a blissful experience. I mean, it was like I was in a different world. It was just, even though that role was like 3 minutes long, it felt like it was 3 hours. It was just amazing to see Swami's beautiful smile. He was looking at me face to face, and that was truly a experience of a lifetime to be, be able to see Swami that close. And it was wonderful. Like each time during those times, I was able to at least experience Swami's divinity, whether physical or through those miracles. It was amazing to have Swami's darshan and during each one of those times. And then also during that same trip, so in the year during the Varalakshmi Ratham 2009, I believe it was during the morning darshan that my mom, is during the morning or evening darshan during that time in Varalakshmi Ratham 2009. My mom got the wonderful opportunity to get Swami's Pada Namaskar. So it was a very interesting experience. My mom narrated it to me about how that happened. So my mom was assigned the first row, but there were some aunties who were like, we want to have the first row. And my mom was just like, okay, it's fine. I'll sit in the second row. And then she was given the duty to give the letters to Swami. But then, of course, again, what happened was some other auntie was like, I want to give the letters to Swami. So she took it from my mom. And then my mom was seated in the second row along with one of the aunties from Kentucky. And during that time, of course, the Varalakshmi Puja and all that went on. And then Swami came. And then, of course, usually whenever Swami comes, Swami always starts from the ladies' side. And he, like how he usually comes in the car, but today he came in the wheelchair. And during that time, Swami was coming in the wheelchair. And then he stopped at one lady and he asked, where are you from? And then Swami said, and then that lady was saying California. And Swami just kept on saying, what? Where are you from? Swami kept on asking that so many times. And that person kept on saying California, California. And then Swami's just like, okay, great. And then Swami went again and started they started pushing Swami's wheelchair again. And then there was the second row, and the lady, she went to give the letters. So Swami took that, but then during that time, Swami was interacting with someone else, and during that time, Swami. So somehow the first row was there was no one sitting right in front of my mom, and there was a space for so for her. So what my mom's instant thought was to go get Swami's Pada Namaskar. So she just went and took Swami's Pada Namaskar 3 times like this. And she looked at Swami's face, and Swami's face was just like, she described it as this. He was just like, looking at her directly like this. And it was amazing. In that split of second, my mom was able to use the opportunity to go take Swami's Pada Namaskar. And there was one other lady sitting next to her that was also able to take Swami's Pad Namaskar, but she was like crying the entire time because it's such a wonderful experience that she was able to get it. And then my mom, of course, consoled her that, like, it was blissful that both of us were able to get it. And then, the other lady, the auntie from Kentucky, who was sitting next to my mom after that darshan was over, she's like, "Whoa, how did you get a Swami's Pad Namaskar? Like, you went like that?" I was waiting for Swami's permission to get Swami's Pad Namaskar. And then, the part that was interesting is that Kentucky auntie's brother was like, "You're a fool. Why would you waste such a great opportunity to get Swami's Pad Namaskar? You don't need Swami's permission. You should have just went and got it as well." So that was truly a wonderful experience. I still remember once my mom came back. Of course, during that time, she told me once she reached the Northern Bloc, I got Swami's Pad Namaskar. And I was like, whoa, that's wonderful. And then she called my dad. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning in Kansas. And she told him, I got Swami's Pad Namaskar. And it happened to be that same day. It was, bhajans were supposed to happen that next day. So he told everyone in the Kansas Eye Center about it. And one of the uncles in the Kansas Eye Center, he said he got a dream exactly during that night that my mom got Pada Namaskar from Swami. So that was truly a wonderful experience, and how he got that, dream. I think it was around the same time that the Pada Namaskar actually happened for my mom in reality. So that was truly a wonderful experience at that point in time. It was truly wonderful. And as we see here, I was able to find this photo from Radio Sai. And you see the circle here, that's my mom during the Varalakshmi Ratham. And then moving on to the next slide. So in the year 2010, we went on a national US pilgrimage. I think it was in July of that year. And we had a great darshan of Swami. And he would, of course, during that time, I would be getting prasadam from Swami. That was directly blessed by him regularly. But, in the year 2010, he wasn't coming to darshan as much due to his health. He would be coming on and off, and there were some days he hasn't come for 2-3 days. But at least I felt happy that we were able to see Swami at least 5-6 times. We were there for a span of maybe 2 weeks, and we saw him. He probably showed up maybe 5 or 6 of those days. So we were able to at least see Swami, but we were seeing his decline in health in the physical form during that time. And then in the year, during probably December of 2010, our Sai Center president at that time was a Sai alumni. So he was going for the alumni meet of every year in Prashanti Noyam, there is the Sai alumni meet happens on January 1st, 2000 of every year. And he told us, me, my mom, and my dad, to write a letter for Swami. And I'll try to give it to Swami. And he was very insistent on us writing a letter for Swami. So, of course, the 11-year-old, I was 10 at that time. I was like, sure, might as well. So I wrote a letter. My mom wrote a letter. My dad wrote a letter. And then we gave it to that Sai alumni. He kept it in a, those big yellow envelopes. He kept it in that. And then he, of course, went to India, went to Puttaparthi. He attended the alumni meet and all that. And then he came back to Kansas, to the center, I think sometime at the end of January. And he pulled us aside and told us this experience that he was on January 1st during the alumni meet in morning darshan, Swami came and he held his personal letter in his left hand. And then the envelope letter, which had my letter, my mom's letter, and my dad's letter in the right hand. And then he was able to get close to Swami. But Swami took our letter, the right hand envelope, which contained the letters of me, my mom, and my dad. And before he got the chance, Swami left, and Swami wasn't able to take his letters. And of course, later, because he had to leave that same evening, he gave the letters to one of his friends. And after a couple of days, his friend was able to give the letter to Swami. But when he was narrating this experience, it was a big, goosebumps for us, because Swami actually took our letters, and it was amazing to see Swami take our letters directly, because letters that we directly wrote. So that was truly a wonderful experience. And I would consider this probably our last physical interaction with Swami in whatever format. Because, of course, we all know in 2011 on April 24th, Swami left the physical form. So it was wonderful we were able to at least, write a letter to Swami. Even though we weren't able to see him, we were able to write a letter just a few months before he left the physical form. And of course, that time frame was, of course, very hard for all of us. We really miss Swami in his physical form, but we always need to remember that he is with us always. And in the part he always emphasizes is that we continue his mission and that we follow his values always. That's what makes Swami most happy, not missing his physical form, because he's omnipresent, he's everywhere. Like what he says is that he's in you, with you, around you. That's one thing we have to always remember. And Swami will always be happy if we follow him, if we follow his teachings and live the best life that we can live. So also in the kind of near the, I would say maybe August or September of 2011, I was able to share so during that time frame, like, in the year 2008, 2009, up till, I would say till recently, like, there was this channel on Vimeo. It was called Sojourns, where this retired news anchor from Cleveland, his name is Ted Henry, he was sharing his, he used to interview Sai devotees who would be sharing their experiences about Swami. And during that time, like, when Swami left his physical form, every night I used to listen to those Sojourns interviews, and I always used to enjoy them. Like, I would spend every night listening to it. That I one time got the thought to my mom, I know the retreat is coming up. Do you think we can invite Ted Henry as our guest speaker? And my mom was like, we can try and ask. And we asked him, and he said, yes, I would love to speak. I would be available this particular weekend. And and then we were like, yes, we'll do it. And he was able to come to Kansas, and of course, we had a retreat. He shared his experiences about Swami as well, which was truly wonderful. And then the next day, so I believe it was actually Sunday on September 11th, 2011. So during the morning, he recorded some of the Sai devotees' experiences in our Kansas Sai Center. Like, they shared their experiences about Swami and all that. And me being 11-year-old, I had the dream to share Swami's experience during that time. Of course, I didn't have much, but my mom asked him, is it okay if my son shares his experiences? And he's like, absolutely. He should definitely talk. So during that time, I was able to share share some things about Swami in the part one of the Sojourns talk for the Kansas Sai Center. So I would say that was the first time I was ever able to speak about Swami, and it always makes me laugh about, like, how I spoke at that age. But it was truly a dream come true that I was able to share my experiences about Swami at that time, and it's always been a dream of mine to share Swami's experiences. And I would say, like, I wasn't able to share Swami experiences after that in this sort of format till. Of course, one time I shared a bit of stuff about Swami for the Russian Sai devotees, but now I'm able to speak about Swami after a gap of 13 years, directly face to face, and I'm just now realizing it's September 2024, and when I did the Sojourns video, it's September 2011. So exactly after 13 years, I'm able to speak about Swami. Share his experiences, in a more direct way again. So that's truly wonderful. And then, of course, we know that after Swami left the physical form in the year 2011. So, of course, I last visited Prashanthi Nilayam in 2010. And then there was a long gap of 7 years where I didn't go to Prashanthi Nilayam, mainly because I wasn't visiting India at all. And then my dad, he was visiting India here and there, and he visited Prashanthi Nilayam a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times. And he was telling about how the activities are still going on the same, and how Swami's presence is actually, he felt it even more after Swami left the physical form than before. So I thought that was interesting. And of course, my devotion to Swami only increased during that time, away from Prashanthi Nilayam. I was just, attending bhajans every Sunday at our Kansas Sai Center. And then in the year 2017, I had to go to, it was actually kind of back to back. So in 2017 and 2018, I went to Prashanthi Nilayam after a gap of around 7 years. And I went mainly because there were some weddings in our family. And during that time, I went to Prashanthi Nilayam, and it was amazing just, when I was entering the, the gate, which is near the, there's like a Subramanyam temple and a Ganesh temple. Just entering it, literally the memories of, going to see Swami. And then I used to, walk around and, walk around the ashram as a kid. So all those memories came back, and I was able to remember each nook and corner of Prashanthi Nilayam at that time. Even though it's been 7 years, I was still able to remember it because of all the beautiful memories. And then I went to, of course, we went for darshan. So like morning, evening darshan, we were able to, see Swami, see Swami's Mahasamadhi. And, during that time, I would, before going, I used to think, man, how could I see Swami? Like, I'm used to seeing Swami in Kowantal. How could I see Swami? Like, what will it feel like? But it felt even better, honestly. Like seeing Swami's Mahasamadhi, it actually brought a lot of positive vibrations that I couldn't even, like, honestly, I didn't even feel that before. Like, when Swami was in physical form, I was able to feel it more even after Swami left his physical form. So it was truly very blissful, wonderful, bhajans, the Veda chanting, Harati, taking blessings of Swami's Mahasamadhi and all that. It was truly, a very wonderful experience. And, during that time, like, of course, the focus is Swami, but during that time, we were able to meet wonderful, individuals who are great devotees of Swami, and they were able to share their loving experiences about Swami. So during that time frame, the place where we were staying, Dr. V. Mohan was there, and he's a big diabetes doctor in India. And he was also, I think he was recently at that time inducted as a trustee of the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust. So I was able to speak to him about Swami, and then he even sent his recent book, which he wrote about Swami, and some Vibhuti packets and an encouraging message to me to Hyderabad, to my uncle's home. And he was, he wrote a very impactful message, which was regarding kind of like a direction which I wanted to go in life after high school. And he wrote kind of how he just gave some very wonderful, impactful message saying to follow Swami's teaching, stay on the right path, and Swami will take care of what you will do in the future, and it will be great. So that was truly wonderful. Despite being one of the busiest doctors in India, he was able to remember to, send his book and, some Vibhuti packets to my uncle's home in Hyderabad. So that was truly wonderful. And then after that, in the year 2019, it was actually December 2018, I went to India for study abroad trip as part of my undergraduate studies at the University of Kansas. So for about 2 weeks, I was going around India along with my classmates at KU, learning about the business and culture of India. And of course, once it was done, all my classmates and my professor went back, but I decided to stay another, I think it was 2 weeks, mainly because, of course, I have to meet some relatives and visit Swami's, visit Prashanthi Nilayam. So, because usually, whenever I go to India, I have the aim that I will not leave India without visiting Prashanthi Nilayam. Because that's, Swami is our mother and father, and would we leave India without meeting our mother and father? So I make it a point, even to my mom, that every time we go to India, we should always visit Prashanthi Nilayam. So during that time, 2019, because, of course, New Year already happened. So it was already January 2019. And I was able to, attend. I was in Prashanthi Nilayam when Sports Days happened, and I always used to hear as a kid about Sports Day, about how wonderful it is. They would do motorcycle stunts and all these sort of things, and I always used to wonder, oh, I would like to see it. And of course, after I was able to see it for the first time live in 2019, the Sports Day, and it was truly a wonderful event. And during that time, I was able to also meet Dr. V. Mohan again. We caught up, and then he kind of spoke. He was asking about how my, journey is, and I told him about what happened. And, he's like, that's truly wonderful. I'm glad you're on the right path. And of course, at that time, I went to meet Mr. Chakrabarti, who is he's a part of the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust. He's a trustee, and I was able to meet him in the Central Trust office, and I was able to speak to him about the activities happening in the USI organization, and he was truly happy to see me, and we were all like speaking about Swami, and then speaking about like a lot of the general things going on around the globe. So that was truly a wonderful experience. And then, of course, I came back to the U.S. and college went on, and that Sai Center activities came on. And then in the year 2021, there was a important decision to be made of in Prashanthi Noyam, they created a thing called the Sri Satya Sai Global Council. And this was a time when there was a lot going on in the center, and we were thinking like what is the best decision to make? Should we join Global Council or not? And then there was this one Sai brother from Maryland who educated us on why the Global Council was formed and the reasonings why it's in the best interest to join. And we were, of course, after hearing that, we felt it was definitely valid, but we needed a sign from Swami whether our center should join or not. And then, we were reminded of a incident that happened in the year 2016. This was during a time when there was some things going on, and my mom was in the basement at night thinking to Swami, why are we doing bhajans? Then Swami gave my mom the thought, we are doing bhajans because of divine love and global peace. And immediately when that thought came to my mom, she had a black marker next to her. So what she decided to do was write on the wall, divine love, global peace, as you see in this photo. And then after that, 5 years passed by, and then my mom was, we were thinking, and then I saw on the wall, like, divine love, global peace. And I was like, Mom, the answer was given to us 5 years ago itself. So that means we should join Sri Satya Sai Global Council and be connected to the sacred land of Prashanthi Noyam. So that was, so based on that, we joined the Sri Satya Sai Global Council, and we were able to be connected to Swami even more and into the sacred place of Prashanthi Noyam. And because of that, during COVID, we were able to get so many wonderful guest speakers from across the globe, and as well as in India and Prashanthi Noyam. And it's been truly a wonderful experience being directly connected to Prashanthi Noyam. And during that time, we celebrated the Kansas Sai Center's 30th anniversary on September 24th, 2022. And during that time, we actually had we got Brother Ratnakar, who is the managing trustee of the Sri Satya Sai Central Trust, to give his wishes and blessings for our Kansas Sai Center. So I'll be playing his video really quick. Let me just share my screen in the proper way.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Kansas Sai Center's 30th anniversary is being celebrated, and I'm very glad that I'm invited to be part of this beautiful program. 30 long years you have all walked with Swami, and Swami held you by hand, and you have made your journey, spiritual journey with him. Very happy that Kansas Sai Center has chosen to be part of Global Council. And as you all know, today Sri Satya Sai Global Council is doing wonderful work across the globe, in every zone, every country, in every Sai Center. People are very well connected to Prashanthi. They're connected to Swami. and there is seamless exchange of information from Prashanti Nilayam to all the centers, and from all the centers to Prashanti Nilayam. The very purpose of Sri Satya Sai Global Council is to unite all Sai devotees across the globe, make them connected to Prashanti and to Swami and his mission. Swami has left his legacy behind, and his legacy is his mission, his organizations, his institutions. And right from his childhood, from the day he declared that he has come for the humanity, he chose this sacred land, Prashanti Nilayam, as a center for his entire divine mission. We are blessed that we are all chosen to be at his feet, connected to Prashanti through Sri Satya Sai Global Council. Swami would say, even 10,000 horses cannot pull you to Prashanti Nilayam if I do not will it. So sisters and brothers, we are all chosen by Swami individually. That's why we are able to stay connected to him and connected to Prashanti. Kansas Sai Center, though it's very far from Prashanti, I am sure each one of you carry Swami and Prashanti in your hearts. That's why this connection has happened very naturally. Wish you all the very best, and let us walk hand in hand in Sai mission. And the entire journey is within. Swami has come to show the path to go within. So he is always encouraged to people to seek Swami within, and that is what is important for him, that we grow deeper so that we'll find him within our hearts, so that we stay connected for eternity. So have a blessed day, have a wonderful program. Congratulations to each one of you for being part of this beautiful saga of love, and may Swami continue to bless each one of you and your families with abundant grace and his love forever and ever. Thank you. Sai Ram.
I'll go back to sharing the screen. So yeah, that was truly a wonderful, clip of where Brother Ratnakar was able to, give his wishes for the Kansas Sai Center on the 30th anniversary. And it was truly after that, of course, we've had many wonderful guest speakers speak for us at our Kansas Sai Center and hear their wonderful experiences. And then in the year, so of course, COVID happened and all that. So there was a 5-year gap where I wasn't able to visit Prashanti Nilayam. But a very last minute trip happened in, I'd say February of 2024, where me and my mom had to go to India on some personal work. And during that time, of course, I had the wonderful opportunity to visit Prashanti Nilayam again after 5 years. And, of course, during that time, it was only a 1-day trip to Puttaparthi, but it was a very nice and, wonderful time. I was able to attend morning darshan, evening darshan, and all that. And I was even able to, meet some, some wonderful people. Like we say, like we said as you see in the first photo, we were able to meet Brother Sundar Swaminathan, who's the head of Radio Sai, the Sri Satya Sai Media Center. So he gave us a tour of Radio Sai, and it was amazing to see the wonderful renovations they made to the media center. And he was speaking. It was such wonderful that he even told us a very interesting experience about how the first place where he actually entered when he came to the U.S. was Kansas City. So he said that Kansas is always a place he remembers because that's the first place where he entered when he entered the country. So that was truly a wonderful experience. That how the Kansas connection was there in Prashanthi Noyam. And then, as we see in the middle, we see Bhagya sir. He's one of the oldest faculty at the Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. He teaches MBA students, and he was actually our 30th anniversary guest speaker through Zoom during that time. And it was I was seeing him. I was actually on the way to meet Chakravarti uncle, and I saw him, and I'm like, "Oh, Bhagya sir, remember us? You spoke for our center." And he's like, "Yes, I'm so glad to finally see you in person." And then we took a photo with him, and he's such a energetic person. So it was so great to see him in person. And then we see on the right side, I was able to meet Chakravarti sir again after 5 years. Of course, he's the chairman of the Sri Satyasai Global Council, and he's part of the trust. And he's also been given a new role where he's the chancellor of the Sri Satyasai Institute of Higher Learning. So it was wonderful to speak to him for an hour about the activities that are happening within the Sri Satyasai Global Council USA, and then speak about his experiences about Swami and all that. So it was a very wonderful 1 hour session speaking to him and getting his blessings. And we had evening darshan. There was some program going on, and as usual, all the programs that go on are always amazing. And we had the initial plan of not attending evening darshan, but then later we're like, let's attend it for 20 minutes. And then because we needed to get to Bangalore by that night so that we could catch the flight the next day. But we ended up staying all the way till the end of the program, which is already 9 p.m. at that point, because, it's such a blissful thing that, why should we leave? We should enjoy the bliss. So we stayed the entire till evening, and then we left for Bangalore at night, 10 p.m. We made it by midnight, and it was a very hectic thing. But just spending time in Prashanthi Nilayam, I always feel like it's always great to spend as much time as we can, even if it's short time. Just enjoy the moment. So it's truly wonderful to visit Prashanthi Nilayam again 6 months ago, and yeah, it was of course Swami. He's always there in our lives, and I'm always thankful to Swami for being able to guide me uh, on how to live the right path and how to follow his values. And I'm really thankful to my mom, because without her, I wouldn't be able to know about Swami and follow and know his teachings and follow our human lead a life with human values. So there are only two people I can fully thank in my life, and they've always been with me 100%. Those two people are, of course, Swami, our Divine Mother and Father, and my mom, Lakshmi. She's been always there for me 100%. And, I got, I can, I don't know how to thank them all. They've done so much for me and led me on the right path. And whatever my mom read in the introduction today, the only reason why I have all these things is all because of the how well she raised me and how well Swami raised me in my life. So I am always thankful to them for this. And with that, I'd like to conclude my experience sharing for today. And I really want to thank each one of you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my experiences for the Kansas Eye Center's 32nd anniversary. So with that, I would like to open up the floor for a question answer session. So please feel free to unmute and share your thoughts.
Really wonderful, Karthik. I feel so fortunate to attend this. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences.
Oh, thank you so much, Sister Sarda. I'm so glad you were able to, attend, and it was truly wonderful. So glad. Thank you.
Sairam Karthik, this is Mohan uncle, and Jayanti auntie is with me, and we have Sachin uncle and also Richa auntie here. We are visiting them, and we have been listening to your talk so long, so beautiful. Very, very thought-provoking and very rare experiences, starting from your grandparents and parents, and your brother and your mother, and everybody. The whole family is blessed to have so much of Sai experiences. We loved them listening to you, and the way that you articulated it's very nicely, touching the hearts of people who listen to it. One thing I wanted to have you elaborate on is that when you learned about Swami and when you had Swami's darshan and when you read about Swami's books and when you saw other Sai devotees and having your home itself as the Sai center, and you have been listening to many Swami's experiences from so many devotees, and you have invited so many people to your home, and with all your interactions, what is the best way to connect with Swami, you think? Yeah, just elaborate on it a little bit
Sure.
about your experience. Yeah, Sairam.
Yeah, sure. So usually the best way to interact with Swami. So I've heard many different ways ever since I was little. Some people said you can express the Swami when you sing bhajans. You can express the Swami when you do service. You can express the Swami by writing a letter to him. There've been many different things, and then some people say talk to Swami directly, whether it's in your mind or through your voice. Speak to Swami. So I heard all these things, growing up, and I was never sure which one is truly the correct way. And of course, I've done all of them, but I felt like, the biggest way to connect with Swami is all these ways are correct, no doubt about that. But each way is very individualistic. And in my personal way, the way how I connect to Swami is heart to heart. I have inner conversations with Swami about what's going on in my life, and I pray to him internally, like Swami, please take care of this, please take care of that. And it's like kind of more of an inner conversation, and of course singing bhajans and all that is just ways to connect to Swami. But I feel personally like writing letters is important too. But the best way to connect to Swami is just include him in every part of your life. So for example, if when I'm alone or stuff, I just sometimes just sit, close my eyes, think of Swami, talk to him. And I feel like, those are truly the best ways to interact with Swami. Like, it's just having a heart to heart conversation. Just, you can feel his presence with or without his photo. You can just purely connect with him and just share everything with you, because he is our mother, father, guru, friend, God. So that's what I feel, Uncle. Like, that's one way I connect with Swami. And of course, there are other wonderful ways to connect too. And those are truly impactful as well. But this is one thing which I observed in the last maybe 5-10 years, that this is a way how I interact with Swami, once I grew a bit older.
Thank you, Karthik. But it was so wonderful to know that the inner conversation with Swami is the best way that you found suitable for you. And I'm so amazed and very happy that you are practicing that. And another question is about your experience as an education coordinator. I know you would have spoken to the SSC students, and of course you would have interacted with other SSC teachers. And what is that you learned when you became an SSC teacher? Or in other words, what did you enjoy the most about it?
Yeah, I mean, like, definitely, like, I've gotten certified and all that. And, one thing I've learned is, like, going through those, the SSC manual and all that, it's great. We're able to gain insight. But is it really impactful? That's one thing which I really questioned, because I've observed kids, from kindergarten, they've been attending SSC. And then once they hit 9th grade, they would kind of get deviated for whatever reason. And they would kind of forget about Swami in their life. And one thing I've learned is that, like, essentially, like, the two biggest pillars in, educating children on human values is, first, the parents need to be educated on Swami. That's the utmost thing. And the second thing is that, like, the teachers themselves need to exhibit Swami's human values in their, like, when they're interacting with them and in their personal life, because these two individuals are the examples that students, SSC students see. So based on that one thing I observed is that, like, truly, like, interacting with the SSC children in a proper way, in a way what Swami would like, that's the most important, and with that, they'll actually be able to understand Swami's all the materials taught in SSC a lot better, and how we can apply it in our real life. So I feel like truly it's not just SSC students that need to understand Swami. I feel like it needs to be any age group needs to learn more about Swami and his teachings in order for it to be impactful for the next generations.
Thank you, Karthik. And I leave it to others for check.
Sairam Karthik.
Sairam, Auntie.
Really enjoyed your talk. And I remember in 2005, you were 5 years old, and that's the time I happened to meet you for the first time. So I do know you from that time till now. And I was recollecting some of the experiences that you mentioned. Your mother has shared it with me. So I was trying to recollect those ones. And then I remember in 2010 when I came to your home, that time you were 10 years old, and you were repeatedly watching my videos, my Sojourn's video. I still remember that. And your mother was always talking about it. Oh my God, he is glued to your video. He is glued to your video. And when I used to come there after the satsang is over, you will keep asking me, Auntie, share some more experiences. I want to hear. I want to hear.
Amazing questions.
Yeah, you used to ask all kinds of questions
So
to
many
me.
questions.
I don't know whether you remember or not. I do remember. So it was so wonderful that I'm so happy that we were acquainted with such a wonderful family who has been so close to, got so many blessings from Swami, as well as so close to all the Sai devotees over there. That's so wonderful, Karthik. We are so proud of you, you are really a standing example for the future generation. They all should follow your path like as you did. As you said, that's very true, that after certain when the children attend the high school, they are all deviated and they don't pay attention. I myself have witnessed that in our own Sai centers and other Sai centers as well. So instead, if everybody will try to follow this will be really helpful, especially to face this generation, this current generation, which is very, SSC is a must. And I want all the children to follow that and follow it forever, But thank you so much. I really enjoyed each and every bit of your slides. And here is Sachin uncle. He wants to start to you. And we are
Sure.
so happy that we were able to listen to your talk when we all were together over here in South Carolina. Here you
So
go.
good. Thank you.
Sam, Karthik.
Sairam, Sachin, uncle.
Sairam. Yeah, I was so glad to listen to you, watch the slides that you have put together. This was kind of our first-hand experience, going through what you and Lakshmi Didi has experienced. I mean, so amazing. And our children were also listening to it. So we just wish they mature like you. So follow your footsteps. Thank you, Karthik.
Thank you, Sachin, uncle. It's so wonderful to hear from you. And I know, Divya and Pihu are in wonderful hands, and you and Auntie are wonderful examples of Swami's devotees. So you are all on the right track.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karthik. I echo you what you said.
Yeah, definitely, Auntie. And, of course, the experiences that you always used to share whenever you used to visit us, those always keep running in my mind. And, the thing is that, whenever I feel down sometimes, what I think of your beautiful smile, Auntie, and that just brings back my happiness.
That's so sweet of you.
So you are truly a wonderful, devotee of Swami, and you're setting a wonderful example, and you're spreading Swami's love and message everywhere. So I truly appreciate that about you, Auntie.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. I'm so glad that you have impressed you so much. That's very, very nice of you. Thank you.
Interesting.
Thank you, Uncle. Sairam.
Yes, Richa Auntie.
Sairam Karthik.
Oh, Sairam,
Wonderful
Auntie.
experience. Each of one from your grandfather to you. I'm so happy. And see, just listening to you, and I'm thinking about my daughters also. And I'm so happy because if you are looking for now generation, they are, I don't know, it's really scary. But when I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, okay, the Swami is here, so he will take care of everything, like you said. So I'm so happy, and it's really nice. Yeah.
Karthik, Richa Auntie is math teacher
Oh,
for
really? Wow.
middle school children. So just now she was sharing all the experiences, what a kind of torture she's going through in the classroom. So that's what I was telling her that Swami should come soon, and they have to really touch everyone's heart and transform everyone, because Swami loves the younger generation. And but the way she described, I was really kind of taken back. I was shocked to listen to that. And then only I told Swami, only if you come, this can be straightened up. So let us all pray for that and wait for Swami's arrival.
That's why SSC is
physical
so
arrival.
important.
So SSC is the must.
Yes, definitely, Auntie. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, and convey our what you call congratulations to your mother as well, as you said, for raising you like this.
Definitely.
And your father and your beloved mother.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Auntie.
You're
I see
welcome.
Grandma, you're also unmuted.
Yeah, I will bless you. That's all. I'm so proud of you. As they say, we should not talk too much about the youngsters. That's why I won't say anything more than I'm very proud of you. You
Oh,
and whole family, Nana.
thank you so much,
You are the
Grandma.
Mola Virat. You are the Mola Virat. Keep it
Uh,
like that, and you will be inspiration for all the younger people. Yeah.
Sure. Appreciate that, Auntie. Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Grandma. That means a lot.
Yeah. God bless you, Nana. Sai Baba bless you.
Thank you, Sairam.
Yeah. Even Ram is listening to the whole conversation quietly. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. That proves I'm also blessed.
Yes, absolutely. We're all blessed.
Yeah. Thank you, Nana. God bless you. Yeah.
Thank you, Sairam.
Sai Ram Bhagwan.
Let's see, any other questions from anyone, or anyone wants to add anything? Bella?
Sairam, Sairam, everyone. Sairam
Sairam.
Karthik, thank you for sharing your beautiful story. I was just the whole time I was just sitting with a smile on my face. I just catch myself smiling and just enjoying your story and enjoying the fact that in today's world it is still possible. It is still possible to grow and be with this great human values and do the right thing and be the example and lead by example. Just be who you are, and you will look at it. And Swami said, just by your life has to be my message, and I think that's what you are showing, and I really enjoyed.
Thank you so much.
Part of it. I'm very very happy to be part of it. Thank you very much. Part of just to know about this and be part of the Science Center. Thank you very much for everything that you do, and thank you very much for uniting us. Yes, you've been doing that all this time, and you are still continue doing that, and I'm very very grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bella. It means a lot for you to, share all that. And, it's amazing to see how Swami's love is spread to not just Indians, but for others across the, globe in the most amazing parts that you would never even see. So thank you so much, Bella. So does anyone else have any questions for any questions in general, or would like to share anything else? Let's see, Venkat Uncle.
It's amazing. It's been 2 weeks or so. Missing you guys. But yes, I had an amazing experience. Thank you.
Thank
We're
you
not
so
able
much.
to hear the Sister Bella, neither by Venkat Bhaiya's voice. I don't know why.
Sairam Venkat Uncle.
Yeah,
Looks like
me okay now?
it's still a bit low, but maybe try speaking again. We might be able to hear you.
Yep.
Yes, we
Sairam.
can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Yep. Yeah, it's so amazing to hear all your experiences. And it's been only 2 weeks, but we're missing you guys so much. Sairama.
Sairama, we're missing you too, but I'm so glad we were able to communicate this way, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you so much.
Yep. Sairama.
Sairama. Let's see. Sastry Uncle, we'd like to hear hear from you, Sairama. Sairama, Sastry Uncle.
Sairama.
Sairama.
What would you like me to say?
I mean, it's like, we'd like to hear your thoughts, or if you have any questions particularly, anything from you, Uncle.
What thoughts would you like to listen to?
Anything, Uncle. I'd be happy to, listen to you, like, regarding anything you have regarding, like I would like your blessings.
May Swami's blessings be there to you and to your parents and to your extended family.
Thank you so much, Sastry Uncle, for your blessings. That means a lot. And so glad you were able to attend today's talk.
Now, what is it or rather, you have a double degree, your mother said.
Mm-hmm.
One is MBA, right?
Yes.
And the other is
MS.
MS. What is that? MS in what?
In business analytics.
Huh?
Business analytics.
Business
Analytics.
analytics.
Yes.
Now both are, so both the degrees are oriented towards business.
Correct. Correct, Uncle.
Have you given serious thought to first understand in Swami's, we keep saying teachings and teachings and teachings. But let us say Swami's discourses on various topics. Each discourse has a particular topic. And dare I say that we generally miss the kind of story that Swami develops in each discourse around a particular topic. And that the way he weaves the story is to encase a particular value or idea that one should implement in daily life. And in encasing that, around which the story is developed, we generally miss concentrating only on the envelope rather than going deeper into what was he talking about. And that, of course, you have to get back to your house or apartment or in Prashanti, wherever you stay, or in America, wherever you get back to. You have to sit down and then ruminate on what did I hear from Swami? What did he mean by what he said? What is it that I have absorbed? And what is the value system on which it is based? And how do I connect it to the kind of education that I have received so far? And in this context, for you, MBA, MS. And then your mother has detailed, I think you yourself have detailed your achievements. And you have covered all the alphabet there. IOC, MSc, FSc, etc., whatever you have said. Now, in all these degrees, diplomas, awards, and whatever they are, memberships, etc., there is a particular idea behind it. And since you carry that membership or title or degree or diploma, how do you plan to connect, or what efforts did you really are making on a daily basis to connect what you have learned from Swami to the education that you have received?
Yeah, Uncle, that's a very, very in-depth question. And, thank you so much for giving such a wonderful discourse on that. And, the thing is, to answer your question, how do I connect what my education, my qualifications are to Swami's teachings, and how can I include on that? So, what I believe personally is the reason why I want all these, certifications or this education is so that I'm able to serve Swami's institutions in a more meaningful impact way by sharing the knowledge I have with the future generation, whether it's in SSE or in the centers or in even in Prashanthi Noyam at their institutions. So that's always been a goal of mine personally, is to give to do whatever very little I can to help out in Swami's mission. And then when it comes to the professional sense, setting myself as the best example as I can be by being a good human being, following the right path, having the right values in the workplace, and being known as a person who's able to have the best behavior, be the best worker. And I want the thing is, it's not necessarily spreading Swami's name directly, but having Swami's values in me and showing those, so that people will will be able to at least learn one or two things of at least one or two good qualities I have, which I've gained because of Swami. So it's mainly setting myself as the right example and trying to always improve myself on a daily basis, what in a spiritual sense, because the end of education is character. So that's one thing I always remember, and I'm always doing my best every day to improve myself one step at a time, whether it's spiritually, professionally, academically, or anything. So that's kind of how I am seeing kind of the connection of how my education, my professional, and my spirituality can all be interlinked.
Very, very good. Now, you said that how I can help out in Swami's institutions or Swami's organizations and all that. But I want to communicate to you that every thing that you touch in your life, and similarly for me, similarly for everybody who is listening, to whichever organization or home or office or educational institution with which one is associated, the primary requirement having understood, or rather having pronounced that one is a Swami's devotee, is to consider that organization, that home, that office, that business is Swami's organization, Swami's business, Swami's, because that is the essence of the statement, Ishavasyamidam sarvam yatkinchat jagatyam jagat. And therefore, everything in the universe is permeated by his force field. And therefore, if you work for, say, Kansas City in some capacity, and if you claim a devotion towards Swami, the first requirement that you should put on yourself, and that includes me as well, that includes everybody, is to consider that organization as Swami's organization, or that building to be Swami's temple, and that what you do there must be true to kayena vacha manasendriyaiva karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai narayanayeti samarpayami. At 10 o'clock, when you go to that entity with which you are associated, 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whatever it is, you must be able to say, Swami, be with me while I discharge my duties. And at 5 o'clock, when you are out of that, you must be able to say, I have done my duty and I offer you whatever I have done today with the utmost sincerity. And that is what transforms not only you, when I say you, I am talking about a person, transforms the person
Yes.
Am I still here?
Yes, I can hear you, Uncle.
Not only transforms one's own self, but it functions this way. You have a big bucket of water and you take a dropper and take a little bit of a blue ink or black ink or some other colored liquid, and you put it into that big bucket of water. Before you put it, you think that what can I do for this big bucket of water? There's a large volume of water. I am equipped with here a small dropper in which I want to take a small quantity, a few cc's of colored water, colored substance, and add it to that big bucket of water and think that I can change the color of that big bucket of water. Am I kidding myself? Am I a fool? Or I am doing with faith in myself and faith in the superior power. If that latter is the mindset, namely that I have faith in myself 100%, and I have faith in the superior power 100%, consistent with the Vedic saying, the Upanishad saying, Purnamida Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. This is whole, that is whole. Whole comes from whole. Whole divided by whole is whole. Whole minus whole is whole. Whole plus whole is whole. And that is the meaning of 100% faith in myself and 100% faith in the superior power. Both are 100% because both are whole. that wholesomeness with which you function in the society, that small dropper in which you have the colored liquid will change the color of the bucket, large bucket of water. That is what faith means and achieves. And that is what is required in the society. One man, when I say man, it is genderless. Purusha can change because this Purusha is the same as that Purusha. And that is what is necessary to think about for those who proclaim or think or convince themselves as a believer in something of not only themselves but a superior power. And so, on this occasion, when you have chosen to talk about your journey and towards the superior power in these 24 years, and you have many decades to further not only your educational prowess, but also the application of what you have and what you continue to have by the krishi, that means the cultivation of connecting what you have learned to the application of that to elevate the society. And therefore, given my body's age at 92 and a little bit of knowledge that I have gathered, which I try to cultivate constantly, like water and manure is required even for a tree which has grown. I cultivate the knowledge that I have gathered in order to turn it into wisdom. The wisdom in the simplest sense is what is right and what is not right, to distinguish between the two, and to pray to God to give me that sense. Sai Rama.
Sai Dama, thank you so much for your wonderful words, Sastri Uncle. It means a lot. And I will make sure to follow that on my path forward. It was truly a blessing to share my experiences with all of you today on the auspicious occasion of the Kansas Science Center's 32nd anniversary. And I truly appreciate all of you for listening and giving your warm wishes, blessings, and asking some questions. So it's truly wonderful. It was a truly wonderful experience to share my experiences today. So with that, we'll move on to the closing prayers of Mahamrityunjay Mantram and Samastaloka.
ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यां परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीमहीषान् गोब्राह्मणेभ्यश्च सुखमस्तु नित्यं समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु।
काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सत्यशालिनी देशोऽयं शोभरहितो ब्राह्मणः सन्तु निर्भया
कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति